Let's speak now to Ashish Prashar, who is a former advisor to the UK's Middle East Peace Envoy and also the manager of the campaign called Game Over Israel. So just to pick up on what Mohammed was saying, Ashish, there is now less than a year before the World Cup hosted by the US, Mexico and Canada. How likely is it that Israel will be banned from European football?
Look, we've never been closer. Look, when we launched this campaign last week, when we put in Times Square a billboard that said Israel is committing a genocide and it's time football federations step up and boycott them, we made it clear that we weren't just speaking for ourselves. We were speaking for the people of the world who've been stuck here watching 2 years of a genocide and don't believe that there should be normalcy. There should be any normalcy because it's complicity in this abnormal time of prolonged genocide, right? They have never been closer to expulsion. The UN, like I said last week, called it officially a genocide. And the public have spoken in the stands in their millions, thousands, hundreds of thousands. Even under sanctions, football fans have been warned not to take Palestinian flags into stadium. Football fans across the world have been fined for doing that, and yet they keep doing it to the song of We Are the Children of Gaza across the stands of Europe. They are gone. I really believe at this point it's untenable for football federations in Europe to continue to have any normalcy with them, for UEFA to continue to have them in their qualifying, but also their European tournaments like the Europa League. You only saw last year when Israeli fans for Maccabi Tel Aviv, but also their football players, all who've served in the IDF, some who have served in Gaza in the last 2 years, took to the streets of Amsterdam and caused a riot wherever they go, chanting death to Arabs. They shouldn't be welcome on European soil, and they should not be welcome in European pitches. And I believe we've passed time where this should be happening, and UEFA and football federations Europe will take action in the next week or so.
And Ashish, the campaign Game Over Israel, you've got support from influential former players, Gary Lineker, Eric Cantona, and the numbers are incredible. More than 800 athletes killed in Gaza in the last 2 years, more than roughly 400 football players, many, of course, young children, but you have the US being the co-host of the World Cup. I go back to that point. Will they veto anything that UEFA does, like in the same way that they do it?
No.
Use that in the UN Security Council?
Yeah, so it doesn't quite work with that, like with football. Look, the point of our campaign, look, there's lots of campaigns out there that have targeted FIFA for a decade, frankly, to expel Israel. And that's also because, Israeli crimes against the Palestinians haven't been limited to this last 2 years. Israel for many years has used culture and sports to whitewash their violations of international law and human rights. And sporting governing bodies have shamefully turned a blind eye to that before, and even more so in this genocide. See, what we're doing here is focusing the campaign energy on UEFA football federations. And the reason we're doing that is, if you remember when Russia was expelled from football, what actually happened was 12 European football federations by themselves boycotted Russia. And that forced UEFA and then in turn FIFA's hand. There is no point in targeting FIFA. Gianni Infantino has made his bed. He basically has decided to side with Donald Trump. He even moved FIFA's headquarters in the United States to Trump Tower. As far as he's concerned, he supports this genocide. He supports the massacre of children in Palestine and other places. He's decided that this is not his problem, and he'll lay in bed with Trump to deliver a successful World Cup. However, football federations can fill the moral vacuum left by FIFA here, step in and take control. It's their people that are demanding this. You only have to look at the streets of Italy, where basically they shut down their country to protest on behalf of Gaza. You're seeing changes dramatically in Spain and Italy, in France and other countries across Europe. And here's the thing, already football federations like Norway, Italy and Spain are meeting privately to discuss their own boycott if UEFA don't do that. And you have to ask yourself, does UEFA want Israel to represent them at the World Cup? Or does it want Spain, the best team in the world, Italy, Norway, one of the most entertaining teams in the world, and other European powers to be there at the football world's showpiece event? That's what's at stake here. Are they going to punish people who boycott Israel because they're doing it for moral, justifiable reasons, or are they going to punish Israel who have committed a genocide? And look, precedent is there. We threw apartheid South Africa out. We've thrown Russia out more recently. And remember, when people ask, right, why do we also want to not just ban Israel, but also all their players? There is precedent. When Nazi Germany were suspended from football after World War II, their players were not allowed back in until 1954 because they had to guarantee no one had served in the Nazi army. And we must guarantee that Israel does not allow to step on a football pitch anywhere in the world until justice is delivered for Palestine.
As you say, Ashish, the precedent is there. Thank you very much indeed, Ashish Prashar, manager of the Game Over campaign. Thank you.